going on, everybody? It's Trey Leo here, and we're back with Louis C.K. once again. Another request. Don't worry, I've gotten and I've received so many different requests. I haven't forgot about any of you all. It's just a lot, and I appreciate those who respond, who give me feedback. I don't feel like I'm not a high esteemed person. Like I feel good about myself, but I'm not like ecstatic, if that makes sense. Um, but seeing the energy that you all kind of show me, and the love and the responses, and even the stuff that is not so good, it's not so bad either. It's like people, the critiques, I like them. I appreciate it. And I can't say thank you enough to everybody who watches and responds and comments and subscribe. Most definitely, like you, that means a lot. And I can't get to every one of you all individually and say hello and thank you. So I want to address that in this video at least, before I started it off, and how much it means to me. Like I had a small goal of to get to, I think, 100 subscribers before the end of the year or something like that. And then that seems like, oh, well, 100 is not a big, it's not a big deal. But for me, it means the world, because that's 100 people that didn't have to take the time out to choose to watch my channel, but didn't have to comment, didn't have to do any of that. But the fact that they did, and you all did, I'm elated, freaking elated. Like, I'm not gonna make this a long ass talk and whatever, but just want to show my appreciation. Say thank you very much. As for the holidays, I'm gonna try to upload. So if you don't see me from the holidays, expect me back Monday morning. Is it Monday? What's Monday? Is Monday a holiday? No. Monday morning for the usual. And we'll get some music down on Monday, but I'm feeling like comedic today. So I was looking through the comments and I seen this one, Louis C.K. But okay, maybe. Of course, but maybe. So, without further ado, let's just get right into this and see what he has to say, because I like this guy. He's an intelligent guy he's made mistakes. I think I talked about this in another video, but if you haven't seen that, then go back and see that, because you shouldn't. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I think he's a wonderful guy, despite transgressions, at any rate. And if anybody has, well, I'm not going to say anything. Let's get into this. Let's go.
You have your bad thoughts. Hopefully you do good things. Everybody has a competition in their brain of good thoughts and bad thoughts. Hopefully they win. The good thoughts win. For me, I always have both. I have like the thing I believe, the good thing. That's the thing I believe. And then there's this thing. And I don't believe it, but it is there. It's always this thing and then this thing. It's become a category in my brain that I call, of course, but maybe. I'll give you an example. Okay, like of course, children who have nut allergies need to be protected. Of course. We have to segregate their food from nuts. Have their medication available at all times. And anybody who manufactures or serves food needs to be aware of deadly nut allergies. Of course. But maybe, maybe if touching a nut kills you, you're supposed to die.
Oh, goodness gracious. That was dark.
Of course not. Of course not.
That was dark.
Of course not. Jesus. I have a nephew who has that. I'd be devastated if something happened to him.
Now, I did want to interject and say something, because I feel like here's my spin on Louis' sense of humor. His humor is intelligent, but often sarcastic, in the sense that he's a very smart guy, but he questions other people's intelligence and think that, you know what, like this segment in general, I feel like there's a vibe. It's like, we're all morally based and sound individuals, but we all have messed up thoughts. Let's make joke about jokes about those messed up thoughts. Not saying it is a literal thing. So there's those who do take things literally and go commit atrocities and things of that nature, and that shouldn't be done. But most people usually take time after you start to think about that thought, you rationalize and you kind of you start putting pieces together. If I do this, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. That's going to affect this person. I'm going to end up in jail. Whatever. At least that's how my mind works. I run through different scenarios and try to reasonably come to a conclusion and say, hey, what's the best course of options? Action options. What's the best course of action to take for any given, altercation? Altercations in particular, because, nobody should, well, I ain't gonna say nobody should fight. I was gonna say nobody should fight, but people have disagreements. Shouldn't murder people. Anyway.
But maybe, if we all just do this for 1 year, we're done with allergies forever. No, of course not. Of course, if you're fighting for your country and you get shot or hurt, it's a terrible tragedy. Of course. But maybe if you pick up a gun and go to another country and you get shot, it's not that weird. Maybe if you get shot by the dude you were just shooting at, it's a tiny bit your fault.
I see what he's saying. You shouldn't throw stones. People gonna throw stones back.
Of course, slavery is the worst thing that ever happened.
No, Louis, no.
Listen, you all clapped for dead kids with the nuts. For kids dying from nuts, you applauded. So you're in this with me now. Do you understand? You don't get to cherry pick.
He said,
Those
you're
kids
guilty
did
by
nothing to you.
association.
Of course, slavery is the worst thing that ever happened. Of course it is. Every time it's happened. Black people in America, Jews in Egypt, every time a whole race of people has been enslaved, it's a terrible, horrible thing. Of course. But maybe every incredible human achievement in history was done with slaves. Every single thing where you go, how did they build those pyramids? They just threw human death and suffering at them until they were finished. How did we traverse the nation with a railroad so quickly? We just threw Chinese people in caves and blew them up and didn't give a shit what happened to them. There's no end to what you can do when you don't give a fuck about particular people.
Oh, God, Louis, no. I get what he's saying. I get it. Through adversity and the persistence, there's great reward, and people wouldn't have strived to be such a great people if they wasn't pushed to do so out of this crazy thing we call slavery. Interesting enough, I was having a conversation with one of my friends about that the other day, and he said something to me that kind of struck me as odd. But he was like, slavery wasn't really a big deal, right? And I was like, wasn't a big deal. And he was like, yeah, I mean, it wasn't everywhere. It was a very few places that had like slaves and where slaves were legal. So I had to do some research. I researched it and I looked it up, and there was actually 9. No. Was it 11? I think it was 11 states that was actually slave states. And I can't give you the exact states, but mostly southern states. So if you take anywhere on that east coast side, and you just kind of go down from, I don't know, New Jersey or something, and just kind of count on, I don't know. It was a lot of southern East Coast states that made that list. But I thought about it, and he had a point. It was just the way he said it. It was a big deal. A lot of people suffered, but it wasn't prevalent everywhere, which I didn't know. And so it made me thinking about how people make a big deal out of certain things that or you know what? I'm gonna stop right there because it's almost like I'm saying that it wasn't a big deal when that's not what I'm trying to say. It wasn't everywhere. So his comment made sense, and that's a little fun fact that maybe somebody else didn't know. Now you know, slavery wasn't everywhere. It was only a good handful of states. Literally, you can count on hand, like 11 plus one. At any rate, let's get back to this. Just my little reading rainbow moment.
You can do anything. That's where human greatness comes from, is that we're shitty people, that we fuck others over. Even today, how do we have this amazing microtechnology? Because the factory where they're making these, they jump off the fucking roof because it's a nightmare in there. You really have a choice. You could have candles and horses and be a little kinder to each other, or let someone suffer immeasurably far away just so you can leave a mean comment on YouTube while you're taking a shit. Thanks a lot, folks. You guys are great. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. I will say this is that Louis is a smart, intelligent guy. His message can be controversial, but I can't say that I was going to say what comedic message isn't, but I really want to say what comedians aren't. Like each comedian has their own niche and where they either address something that's going to be controversial. Why? Because I feel like in a sense that controversy brings examination. You look into it and you say, well, wait a minute, why is it that we are uncomfortable with this? And they bring humor to it and where you can laugh at it and you kind of think on a critical level, like, well, damn, this guy that he makes sense. I was gonna try to join him and say something witty, but I had nothing. At any rate, hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope I didn't touch your head off a little too much about it, my slavery bit. I wasn't trying to pull like a Kanye West and try to slavery wasn't there. So trade slavery was a choice, and no. I don't know what the hell's wrong with him, but he's a smart guy. I don't think he thinks about everything he says before it comes out his mouth. With that being said, hope y'all enjoyed it, like I said, and catch you all on the next one.